Ryan here, Air Force Velocity Stacks. I wanted to show the world what we've been working on this year for the last 9 months. Got together with Beta Canada, talked with Steve Howland, and we decided that we were going to try to make a real powerful Beta motorcycle for snow biking, and that's exactly what we did. We stroked this motor, we built our own piston, our own crank. We worked with the throttle body, built a stack for this bike, and we took it to the dyno, and the numbers were incredible. And what we did is we took a stock KTM and a stock Yamaha and all the bikes out there, Hondas, and we dynoed them back to back to back. And we wanted to see where we stood up after we worked on this motorcycle for a year, and it was incredible. We made a ton of power and a lot more than those bikes. And then I'm like, well, let's see what we do now. Let's take it a little further. So then we got the 490 KTM that's been done to the nuts, and we put it on the dyno, and then we outperformed that bike all the way to about 10,000 RPM. The 490, yes, the last 1,000 RPM made a little more power, but heck, we ain't done. We still got cams in development for this thing. We're talking about building larger throttle bodies. We're gonna port a bunch more heads next year, and we're gonna try to make this thing the bike of all time. And right now, we have raised the bar across the board to everything else out there. So what we've done is that I have two different brothers. I got one brother that just rides pinned to the bar, just and I got another brother that just likes to go bop, bop, bop. And I, like my older brother, we like to ride around that 7,000 RPM range. And so what we did is I designed this bike to make the power lower down. The whole thing was designed and engineered that way. So at 7,000 RPM, we got a lot of torque and a lot of power, and we're never really wringing its neck because it's all there, right? It acts like a super big bore, like a 610, where you're like bop, bop, right? So that's what we designed, and we're gonna just keep on working with this bike for the next 3-4 years and improving it. And I know that I've been in touch with Bottom Line Racing, and he's been traveling around, and the bar to beat right now, I hear, is Lloyd Brothers. They got an incredible bike down there. They've been working on the 550. I don't know if we're gonna get there with this bike because the numbers they got are incredible. I believe it's true because those guys are smart and they know what they're doing. So we're gonna try to head down that path and start getting this thing to 70 horsepower. It's gonna take us a little bit longer. But anyways, I wanna show the world what we've been working on. We're available to build these bikes for anybody. They have to order them early. So we have the bikes coming in April. Everybody calls us. They call us like in November and they want a bike. Well, that's impossible. It takes us 9 months to build a bike, okay? So all of our bikes come with the Yetis, right? Obviously, you know, we've been involved with Yeti since the beginning. I have the same mechanics that designed Yeti with my brothers. I was part of that, helping out. We did it in this building. So we promote Yeti kits. We have the smartest guys in the world working for us that know everything about these Yetis, okay? So we put Yetis on all the bikes. We worked with RP Exhaust. RP designed this exhaust for the Beta bikes. We built our own headers, all right, that work with the RP exhaust. Derek and I did that. Derek's an amazing mechanic. PST, obviously, we got the engine blankets that we prefer. P3 exhaust guards. We have C3, everything we can put on the bike. Kevin and Jamie have an incredible company. They design good quality parts. The shit doesn't break, right? They build the stuff so you can smash it into trees. I've been through hundreds of sets of handguards, maybe like 10 sets a year, because we drive into the trees like morons. Okay, so the next thing is, some guys don't like the lights. I love the brightest light. So I put 11,000 lumen light. This is the AIRFORCE light bracket that fits on Beta bikes. It's solid on there. Uses existing rubbers. 11,000 lumens, so that's like 10 times brighter than most people's lights. It's like a railroad train coming down the railroad track at night, okay? We got the Langs off-road guards. Obviously, we got the RMR. They did the forks for us. And then if you come over to this side, we have the Trail Tech GPS system on there, which Bluetooth to your speakers if you have them in your helmet. I know Trail Tech is working on another app to put better maps in the Trail Tech gauges right now. The Trail Tech gauge is really cool because you can you can always see where your buddies are. It's one of those things that leaves a little line where your buddies are all the time. You can leave it on so it's always powered on, or you can have it so it shuts off in 30 seconds, whichever way you want to do that. There's an antenna that sits right up here on top, and that's how you keep track of where your buddies are. It does everything. It even hooks up to your phone, but you know, we don't take our phones with us, obviously, because we don't want people calling us when we're on the hill. And then we got the AIRFORCE stack that we built for this bike. It fits right in there, perfectly designed. It doesn't rub on the frame. It wraps around a split rod. This stack is a little bit longer for the 500 stroker motor, so we had to lengthen the hose for the back injector. Okay, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Beta motorcycle. So the Beta motorcycle comes with a 200 watt stator, and most bikes, when you buy them, you have to change the stator. So it's a big bonus when you buy a Beta. That's how come we can run that big light, okay? Another bonus is the throttle bodies and the fuel injectors are incredible because there's gas always flowing into the throttle body from the second injector. So you're not gonna have that icing up problem because it's always putting gas in there, especially with the stack, right? Another reason why you want to buy a Beta is because the gearing and it's a 6-speed engine, right? And there's no big gap between the gears. It's first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. There's no first, second, big jump to third, or vice versa, fifth and huge jump to sixth. They got it right from the beginning, okay? And it works great for snow biking. Now what's really interesting is inside the engine you have one side is for the transmission, and then the other side is for the engine oil. So they separated those two, so you can go a lot longer without changing the oil, and you know, that's always a bonus, right? So the clutch, all the contaminants that are coming from the clutch is not going into the engine oil continually and washing through your motor. I mean, it's incredible. The Italians have done a great job building this motorcycle. At AIRFORCE here, we're programming the ECUs. There's a map switch on here. So what we're doing is that you have the sunshine and the rain map, right? And we'll just push the button when we get up to altitude, right? And then that will change the timing. So we'll have a map that changes over 4,500 feet for riding at the top. And then when you go down at the end of the day, you hit the other map and go back to your cabin. So when we had the engines apart, it was quite incredible. It's similar to the other bikes. I mean, very similar. I think KTM, and they share parts. You can see some of the stuff going back and forth. Same components. If you lay the cylinders side by side, I mean, they look identical. This bike comes with a 100 bore cylinder, so we didn't have to bore the cylinder, which causes heating problems and making the cylinder weaker. We just actually left the bore of the cylinder. They're nice and thick. So that's just another positive, right? So the other thing is the counterbalancer shaft. It goes right through the entire motor. It's not just a little counterbalancer shaft. So when we actually get under load on this bike, the handlebars actually go silent. There's an RPM range there where there's actually 0 vibration, if you can believe that, which is incredible and good to the Italians building these great bikes. I mean, I can't say enough about them. When I first bought the bike, I just was like, oh my God, because I've been working on KTMs all these years. And then as I took them apart and put them back together, you just start realizing that this is a great bike, right? It is as good or better than anything out there in the whole market today, bar none. We got 5 guys. We're all going out next weekend. We're all riding the new Beta 500 stroker motors, and it's going to be incredible and a lot of fun. We've been riding them up and down the highways all summer, and we're looking for holes in the motor. We're looking for problems. We're looking for anything that's going to break, and we're going to re-engineer it, redesign it, because these are now snow bikes riding in different elements than dirt. Thank you for watching.